New breed, global truth.
They working against us. They hate our souls. They hate us. They hate our righteous indignation. They hate the exhortation that dwells in us. They hate our love. They hate our conviction. They hate the fact that we repentant. They hate the fact that we truthful, honest, and bold. They hate our courage. Them devils hate us. We're not finna line ourselves up with these weirdos and freaks. With these weirdos and freaks. They working against us. They hate our souls. Weirdos and freaks. But these weirdos and freaks, they working against us. They hate our souls. New breed.
Ephesians 6:10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, and in the power of his might put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints.
What's good, everybody? It's your brother New Breed coming through with another live stream. I see Timeless in the building, Mr. Wild Seed, Aloha King. I see King James in the building. Kima Queen is in the house. I see B Minor Denote, Karen, Banika. Yes. Y'all make sure y'all do me a favor and tap that like button on your way in. Listen, y'all, we got to unpack this one. There's a lot going on in the news right now. You got the Cincinnati brawl that took place. You got this incident right here that took place in NYC. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell y'all right now, this wasn't just a random act of violence. Y'all know what we do over here. Y'all know that we're gonna bring the truth. You know that we're gonna unpack all of it. And you know, we've been doing our investigation. All right. So in case you all haven't heard what's going on, let me keep you up to speed, right? First and foremost, last night around 6:30 p.m., that's July 28th, a gunman opened fire inside 345 Park Avenue, a midtown Manhattan skyscraper that houses, check this out, the NFL headquarters, major financial firms, including Blackstone, KPMG, and Rudin Management. The attacker was 27-year-old Shane Tamura from Las Vegas. This man drove all the way from Las Vegas with an AR loaded, carried it out in the open, walked into these very much important buildings, and started letting off fire, right? And there's a lot of numerology in this particular incident. They say that he ended up on the 33rd floor, which is, to me, is symbolic in itself. That's one of the first things that stood out to me. The investigators believe that he tried to target the NFL headquarters, but he mistakenly ended up at Rudin Management's office on the 33rd floor, right? And we know they do a lot of Masonic codes and all of that, right? So apparently what they're saying happened is, yeah, y'all know that's a sacrifice number. That's also a Masonic number. But what they're saying happened is he pretty much offed 4 people and then also 4 civilians and then also a police officer. Now, afterwards, he goes into this room on the 33rd floor, closed the door, shot himself in the chest, but it was a letter left in his pocket pretty much saying, hey, he needs a CTE scan, check his brain out, right? So that's what we have so far. Now, I'm going to bring y'all a whole lot of truth. I'm going to unpack a lot of things people are not paying attention to, because there's going to be a firestorm behind this, and I'm going to really explain some of what's taking place. But let's see what the news has to say.
Hannity, and we begin with this Fox News alert. A brazen act of violence in Midtown Manhattan in New York City. Multiple people have been shot after a suspect seen right there walked through the center of New York City carrying what is a long rifle and then opened fire inside an office building. The shooter then reportedly shot and killed himself. This picture was obtained by the New York Post. Joining us now on the ground with the very latest tonight is Alexis McAdams is with us. Alexis, what's going on?
Hey, Sean, so I just want to set it up for people who are watching at home and show what's happening in Midtown Manhattan after this happened. So I'm going to show you over here. You can see the crime scene tape, and then you can take a look at that building that's just down here in Midtown. So what we know is 1 cop was shot and killed, okay? She was a female NYPD cop who was working security. We also know 4 other people, according to NYPD sources, Sean, were killed inside of that building. That means people that were there to work, okay? This happened 6 o'clock, 6:30 today in Midtown. People were in that building. They were working hard. Most of the people in finance, which was also in the building, don't leave until way later. So this guy goes in, according to the NYPD sources, goes in down here with this long range, a long rifle, and opens fire. First, he shoots 1 officer in the lobby. That's the female officer who was working security. I'm told, she was working this for extra hours.
Now, let me just put this out here. There's a lot of different variables that we really got to really pay attention to. All right. First and foremost, when this first aired, it was actually announced that it was a white guy who did this. And right now, Dirty MAGA and the good old boys, they're real pissed that was announced. They're happy that it was somebody with some sort of melanin, right? And it's believed that the man is from Hawaii or whatever the case is, or he may be, born in Hawaii. But Nonetheless, what's happening right now is there's discussions on the table about stop and frisk, bringing it back to New York. Although this individual who did this shooting more than likely was some type of Manchurian candidate. He could have been a sleeper cell. And trust and believe, none of those offices that he hit was accidental. None of this is accidental. And see, this is what we got to understand. Anything that's aired on mainstream media has an agenda, and this is carefully planned out, right? You know, they're throwing up he was targeting the NFL because he had a letter saying scan his brain. Look, it could have been MK Ultra. It's not necessarily the NFL. That could be the cover. That could be the cover story. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, somebody else could have placed the note on him. There's a lot of different situations, right? None of it is coincidence. None of it is random. So, you know, I know my Jamaica brothers are in the chat already. They are already breaking certain things down, right? And if you notice with any of these news broadcasts, they're going to list different numbers, right? They're going to throw numbers at you. But anyway, let's continue.
Money, and she gets shot and killed right in the lobby. Then he goes right up into this Midtown Manhattan skyrise, going up the elevator. Guess he didn't need a key card, according to witnesses, and shoots other people. At least 4 people were shot inside of that building. We're told 3 of them, Sean, were taken to a local hospital, and they didn't make it. And then 1 person who was working at that building just died right there on scene. This guy goes up to the 33rd floor, and turns that rifle on him.
You hear that? He went to the 33rd floor. That screams ritual. Now, we broke down what the 33rd degree means, right? How 3 means completion. We just recently had 3 celebrities that died in rapid succession, all in the span of 6 days, right? And then turn around, this guy, he marches through these very important offices, which we're going to break down what Blackstone is about, so y'all can get some context to what's happening here. And now he goes to the 33rd floor. Now, do we believe that's random, or are we really watchful people here? Right? Now, let's continue.
And kills himself. So he barricaded himself inside of an office building in there. According to the NYPD guys who are working the scene right now that I was talking to, they said he doesn't have any connection to this building, any of the offices, the big name offices that we know are in there, like NFL and some of the other finance offices. So they don't know why he was in New York. They don't know how he was able to just go right up. We talk about security and safety, when it comes to active shooting situations. They want to know, how was he able to get up 33 floors and then shoot himself inside that room? But guys,
exactly. We're talking about main financial offices. How was this individual able to get to the 33rd floor? Now, he's walking with this thing out in the open. How wasn't he stopped? Listen, when it comes to the media, you cannot believe everything you see, ladies and gentlemen. There's an agenda behind this. There is a lot of manipulation going on with this news broadcast, right? Now, let's continue.
Send your thoughts and prayers to this NYPD officer who lost her life working an extra job, puts her life on the line every day, working extra security, and gets gunned down. All we know is that she's a woman. They didn't tell me the age, but they're grieving. And the mayor and the top NYPD brass, Sean, are out there at the hospital where they're going to meet with families. And as you know, from being in Midtown, these people, come everywhere. People come here for big jobs. So we don't know the ages of these people who died while at work. So their families might be in other states right now watching the news thinking, I hope they're okay. They might not have been able to get a hold of their family members. All they can see on the TV is this scene here, with the crime scene tape and the blockade. So we're going to try to get more information on those who lost their life. The gunman, not to report his name, has been identified by authorities. The FBI's here, and they're trying to figure out, why he came here in the first place.
Yeah, if you can imagine, he came from Nevada, and there's a lot of different sites in that desert. where there's people who are under mind control. There's different hubs and centers that are hidden in the desert. It's just alarming. Nobody really knows his background that much. They know he played high school football. There's some rumors that he played football overseas, but he just comes from the deserts of Nevada, drove all the way down to the Blackstone building, and just walked up and started airing things out. What is happening here? Is he a Manchurian candidate? Was he a sleeper cell? Why so much numerology connected to this? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to unpack all of that. So get the likes up. Nobody is going to bring it to y'all quite like this. Y'all are going to really get a peek under the veil and see what these people are really up to, right? Now, first and foremost, I want you to know that they want to affect our people. This is definitely perhaps a false flag, and we're going to talk about that as well. But if it is a false flag, why? Why? What are they trying to do? It seems that they're trying to bring more racial tension towards our people. They want to be able to stop and frisk. And stop and frisk was crazy in New York, but it looks like they want to bring it back where they could just randomly slam a black man to his face and just randomly search him, randomly place him under arrest. So that's one part of it. And he was young too. Somebody said, how old was this person? I believe it was 27 years old.
So we'll keep you posted.
All right, Alexa, so we have one officer dead and 4 civilians, and the shooter himself is also dead. Our prayers are with the 4 families.
And I got another news source because it's going to pretty much validate some of the things I'm saying. And we're going to go there, right? All right.
To tonight's breaking news, we have Louisiana Senator John Kennedy is with us. Senator, we always enjoy having you on the program. This is not one of those nights. This is a night where obviously 4 families now have lost loved ones, and the family of an officer, they have lost their loved one. So we have 5 dead that we have confirmed at this point. We hope that that toll stays where it is and does not climb. We're sorry for the prayers are with the families that lost these loved ones. Is there anything you're gleaning from the information that we have so far? We'll know a lot more probably within the hour.
Sean, all you can do at a time like this is be sorry, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the civilians who were killed or injured. I don't know why bad things happen to good people. I don't. If I make it to heaven, I'm going to ask. I'm sorry for the police officers who were killed or injured. I'm also thankful for those who ran to the danger and away from it.
Now, I want y'all to see how they're preferencing all of this. And, you know, listen, we know this random act of violence is a horrendous act. You know, but I want to say this. It's not random. The mainstream media wants y'all to believe this was just another random act of violence, but the facts don't add up. They just don't add up. We have in New York City a mass shooting that left 5 dead, including the gunman. It exposes a suicide note, right? So the shooter didn't just snap. He has some type of purpose. Some people are saying that he's blaming the NFL somehow. He may have CTE. I think it's a little more deeper than that. But I'm not going to interrupt. I'm going to let this play. I'm just kind of reiterating for people who are just joining. Make sure y'all get the likes up to make sure others can get this message, right? Let's continue. Grateful
for them. And I'm sorry for the people in New York. This is going to cause them to have to live in further fear. On Capitol Hill, probably beginning in the morning.
Now, I want you to pay attention to how they're covering this. Now, he went into government offices such as Blackstone, who are very powerful. Now I want y'all to remember the other shooting. What was the guy's name? The white guy. When he went vigilante style and shot up the health insurance director. Now I want y'all to think about this, right? They made him some type of anti-hero. Right? They made the guy, Luigi. They made Luigi some kind of hero figure. Right? But now, with this Manchurian candidate, the whole city is gripped in fear, and there's going to be discussions of stop and frisk. There's going to be discussions of really targeting certain marginalized groups of people based on this person's actions. All right, let's go.
Morning, there'll be the inevitable call by some of my colleagues for more gun control laws.
Yep.
We've got hundreds of gun control.
So why when Luigi, what was it? Luigi M. Maggie, y'all know who I'm talking about. Why when Luigi went up in an important office and did what he did and actually hit his target, killed the director? Why was it no talks of gun laws in New York? Why? Because this is going to affect a marginalized group of people, our people. Somebody said Luigi didn't go into the office. That is true. You're right, but they made him some type of hero, right? That's the point I'm making. He caught old boy coming out the office. But anyway, let's go.
Laws, Sean. Maybe thousands.
New York has a majority of them. I live there.
Yeah, we don't need more gun control. We need more idiot control.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly how to do that, but I do know this. I don't want to hear anyone feeling sorry for this guy who did this. And there'll be some that say, well, he was mixed up, he was confused, he was just sick, his mom or daddy didn't love him enough. All that may be true, but from the bottom of my heart, I don't care. I believe there's objective evil in this world, and we saw it today. And I'm just sorry.
You know, I don't even know what to make of. You know, if you remember, in the United CEO, healthcare was basically assassinated and shot from behind. Remember the shooter, Luigi Mangione, literally became a folk hero among some.
See, that's my point exactly. He became a folk hero among some. Hannity just brung it on out. And it's true. But when it come to this guy here, you know, there's going to be some strict stipulation on gun laws, and there's going to be a lot of harassment towards Black melanated people. Watch.
If you can explain that to me, you probably can tell us the mysteries of the universe, because that's beyond my comprehension.
Well, you can't explain it, in my opinion, and I think most Americans see the horror that you and I are talking about and that we've seen. There will be some, it's inevitable, that they'll go, well, you know, there are two sides to this, and he was mixed up or mentally ill or sick. I just don't want to hear it. I believe that C.S. Lewis was right. I believe that the Bible is right. There is objective evil in this world, and there's absolutely no excuse for this happening. And in terms of how to fix it, let me say it again. We don't need more gun control. We need more idiot control, and that's what we need to be talking about.
New York City senator is in the middle of a mayoral battle that's ongoing, and part of the issue that is being debated and voters will decide come November is the issue of defunding the police, dismantling the police. They already have no bail laws in New York. It's already a sanctuary city. And then the idea and the notion that is being proposed to replace police with social workers.
Do y'all hear that? The discussion is on the table about replacing New York police with social workers. They're trying to turn New York into Gotham City. See, they are pushing something way more chaotic than we can imagine. When these type of scenarios take place, it's going to pursue more anarchy. And they're going to turn the streets of New York up. Like I tell people all the time, if you can get out of the big city, get out. If you can get out, get out. Because it's not looking too good. It's not looking too good at all. And a lot of the neighborhoods in New York are pretty much barricaded already. It's difficult for people to even make their way out of certain communities. It's crowded. And then you got these damn sleeper cells and these Manchurian candidates being let loose. Let's go.
I'm sure you have a reaction to that because I have a visceral reaction to it.
Well, there are a lot of people in political leadership today who believe that that cops are a bigger problem than criminals. They believe that if a cop has to shoot a criminal, it's always the cop's fault. But if a criminal shoots a cop, it's the gun's fault. What you allow is what will continue. And police aren't perfect, but they separate. They're the only distance between us and whack jobs like this guy who killed these innocent people today, and we have to have them. The other thing that frankly New York's going to have to face is the issue of whether we should bring back more aggressive stop and frisk, which is a perfectly legal law enforcement.
See, I told y'all, man. And they also talking about bringing back stop and frisk. Who is that going to affect? Our people. The talks of stop and frisk wasn't happening when Luigi Maggione did what he did. But because this guy has some melanin in his skin and can pass for a black guy, now all of a sudden our people got to be harassed. And at the same time, the news is talking about defunding the police. This is going to create more anarchy. This is going to create more distrust between police and black people. And it's like they're doing everything to stir the pot to make things worse. They always take advantage of a good catastrophe. When a tragedy happens, they're setting up the stage to target us every single time. And I'm talking about God's people. That's who the target is every single time, y'all. Like clockwork. Let's go.
Tactic, blessed by the Supreme Court, that de Blasio got rid of. But the crime went up as soon as he did.
Yeah. Again, I can't emphasize enough. There are families now, one of a New York police officer, 4 other civilians that are getting phone calls tonight and learning that a loved one has been murdered in cold blood. It does not appear to be, it appears to be not to be random. It seems to be targeted. He seemed to know exactly where he wanted to go. He walked the streets, with a rifle in New York City. You don't see that too often, Senator. As somebody that at one point lived there in my life, I can tell you that's not a common occurrence. If I told you how hard it was for me to get a concealed carry permit, you need an awful lot of death threats to actually get one.
And that's the thing. And the young man actually had a concealed and carry permit. And to walk in the streets of New York wielding and brandishing an AR-15 out in the open, ladies and gentlemen, that's crazy. And you're around buildings such as Blackstone. Look, let me show y'all. Let me show y'all what's going on with Blackstone, because some of you all may not quite comprehend how serious this is, right? Let me pull this up. Right? This is Blackstone here. Just a little bit of understanding on how powerful these people are, right? These are the people that's buying up every damn thing. These are the people that's got the world pretty much crippled, really, to be totally frank with you, right? Blackstone control a lot of publications. Listen, we don't even know if they, man, listen, this could be a false flag. It screams false flag in a lot of ways. And we're going to go to some sources on that, but let's go.
One of the world's wealthiest people with a net worth of over $37 billion. He is the chair and CEO of the Blackstone Group, one of the world's largest.
$37 billion, y'all. Blackstone is pretty much BlackRock, for the record. Blackstone and BlackRock is the same thing. All right. Let's go.
Largest alternative asset management businesses. Blackstone provides advice for mergers and acquisitions, private equity funds, and hedge funds. It is perhaps best known for its real estate investment partnerships, but it didn't do all this from day one. Now, let's take a look at how Stephen Schwarzman built Blackstone Group.
Now, this is where this active shooter walked up in. That ain't, if we believe that's by chance, and he was able to off people, nah. This is screaming false flag. It is. Hey, listen. We got to use our minds here, y'all, but let's go.
At the end of 2021, Blackstone Group stood as a large alternative asset management firm with $684 billion in assets under management. Schwarzman and his team are responsible for deciding where to invest the money from several pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, central banks, and other institutional investors.
It definitely can be an inside job. Danica, you're right. It could be an inside job. Maybe they set this up because BlackRock, aka Blackstone, is trying to do some, land grabs in New York. Maybe it's time to do some gentrification. Maybe it's time to, get some of the undesirables out of the way. And since they have so much power, billions of dollars can get you a Manchurian candidate. That's for sure. But, let's go.
He has risen to become not only one of the most powerful people on Wall Street as the Blackstone founder and CEO, but by
one of the most powerful people on Wall Street. And some guy with an AR was able to walk out in the open, walk up into one of these places and just air stuff out.
Amassing such vast holdings in private equity, debt financing, hedge fund management, and real estate acquisition, he is one of the world's most...
And ladies and gentlemen, one of the world's most powerful men, his offices get raided. The shooter makes it all the way to the 33rd floor before offing himself, signifying the Masonic code. He makes it all the way to the 33rd floor. How many of y'all are thinking, yo, Breed, that none of that sounds right at all? Yes, this chat is full of intelligence. We are the intelligence truth community. This is the intelligence truth community, or the truth intelligence community. Let's go.
Powerful business people. To become this wealthy, let's first look at the origins of Schwarzman's career.
Ever wondered why you should get an LLC with a third party when you can do it all by yourself? This is the beauty of Taylor Brands.
After Yale University in 1969, Schwarzman secured employment with a large institutional asset management firm called Donaldson, Lufkin & Jenrette. In the position, Schwarzman studied business law, corporate finance, and capital markets. He also took classes in stock market analysis and money management at the same time. On one occasion, Schwarzman was asked to interview an executive of a publicly listed firm about whether its stock would be a wise investment. However, many of the inquiries he made went unanswered. Bemused by this, Schwarzman later found out that the executive was not trying to be difficult.
Now, y'all got to understand, these are billionaires. Billionaires. You telling me they didn't have no security to do what they needed to do to protect their building? Regina, thank you for becoming a new member. Yeah, they link to the Rothschilds. They link to the Rockefellers. I mean, these are some of the most powerful people in the world. and an active shooter was able to march right into their offices, make it all the way to the 33rd floor. Even though, you know, he went into one of the other offices, but he was able to get out of there. So let's say it this way, because this is how it happened. He marched up in Black Rock, popped a couple of people there. Then he turns around and he goes into what is the name of that other building? Let me make sure I got this correct. He goes into 345 Park Avenue, which is the NFL headquarters, major financial firms, including Blackstone, KPMG, and Root Management. So he hit those places first. Then he ended up in Root Management. How did he even get out? How did he even get out of there to make it to a 33rd floor? That doesn't make sense. How did he even get out of that situation? Anyway, I'm not going to be long-winded. Let me educate y'all on the Blackstones for those who don't know.
But was following insider trading laws, which prevented him from disclosing certain details about the company. However, despite acknowledging why the executive could not respond to his inquiries, Schwartzman was apprehensive about assessing a possible investment without having all of the essential and relevant information about it. He was irritated by this, so he decided to go to Harvard Business School and study further in order to find a solution. The solution was the creation of the Blackstone Group. In 1972, Schwartzman earned his MBA from Harvard. He accepted a position at the then independent investment behemoth Lehman Brothers. By the age of 31, he had worked his way up to become the global mergers and acquisitions director for Lehman Brothers.
Wow.
Schwartzman soon left the company after American Express Company took over Lehman Brothers in 1984.
So as you can see, they have a lot of power with trade as well as our banking system. These people, I just wanted to set the stage to show y'all how powerful they are. Now, I'm going to go to the closing part of this video because it's important, and then we'll go from there. This is Blackstone, also known as BlackRock, right? Let's go.
Consultation, as well as private equity fund management services. Blackstone is responsible for various hedge fund and real estate investment partnership funds as well.
They own everything, bro. When it comes to real estate, they got the game on lock. So I guarantee some gentrification is going to come out of this mass shooting. I guarantee it.
Schwartzman's real estate team started buying single-family houses across the US in 2012 with the hope of turning them into rental properties. They plan to buy 50,000 over the next 3 to 4 years. In 2007, Schwartzman took the Blackstone Group public. The company's initial public offering generated more than $4 billion in funds. Schwartzman received $690 million in Blackstone dividends alone in 2014, according to reports. Other people's money made Schwartzman a multi-billionaire. The Blackstone Group, a private equity firm co-founded by Schwartzman in the mid-1980s, was founded based on dissatisfaction with the lack of transparency in the financial markets.
Right, because they're corrupted. And, you know, it is what it is. But I want to show y'all something because we got our sources, right? We got our sources. Now, I'm gonna show y'all this because this is quite interesting because we're speculating on it being a false flag, but we're not the only ones here, right? Look at this.
With the he's from Palestine. He keeps saying free Palestine. He got his face covered up in the Palestine stuff. He walking out. The police don't pay him no mind. I said it's him. And then they end up getting him. Got him, and they put him to the ground, and they got him. They got him. Tried to bomb it up. He tried to bomb it up, and so did the lady. The lady that he came in there with, she left with a red bruise on her face, though. She went.
So, you know, some people who was on the ground claimed that he was out here screaming free Palestine, right? So you know, there's already the either crisis actors in place, or perhaps we're not being told what really happened. Perhaps the news media is spinning a narrative that really didn't happen to do what? Suit the objective. Suit the objective of, you know, the power structure. Now, of course, yes, this video could be unrelated. I'm just throwing it out there, but it is circulating on social media as a related video. So I wanted to play that because I thought that was interesting, right? But nonetheless, it could be unrelated. I'm letting that be known right now. It could be unrelated, but the way it's being pushed, it's doing numbers on X, so we don't know, right? We don't know. But now there's more. Let's go into this shooter. Who is this guy? That's the question. Who is this guy? Now, I just want to show y'all that. I'm going to go here. One moment, y'all. Thank y'all for being patient, because there's still developing stories. So I'm actually seeing developments. Man, this is crazy. All right. All right, so I'm going to give y'all another news source because there's updates as we speak. It's updates as we speak. Who is this guy?
Spinoza live in Manhattan with some of those details. And we're learning more about the timeline as well as this terror unfolded, Marcus.
Hey, Marnie. Yeah, good morning. And I was here yesterday after this unfolded. It was an incredible scene. You see the aftermath of what happened last night behind me there, with a shot out window and flags at half staff to my left right now that you mentioned. And today begins really that first full day, that first initial process of this full investigation here. And there's so much to cover as far as that timeline and what happened there. So yesterday, that is the picture that really, really circulated around the country, that it is just astonishing, of the suspect, the shooter there, walking into the building, holding that M4.
Now, how did he just feel so comfortable walking like that with the gun out like that? Like, how is this even possible?
And then just moments later would unleash evil, as officials would call it, inside of that building there. And then today they were in the process of gathering all this evidence. They towed his car as well. And inside that car, there was a revolver. There was further ammunition for that M4 rifle that was used to shoot and kill people inside 345 Park Avenue here, there. And then the NYPD gathering evidence bags as well. And then once again, of course, let's bring up the picture of Officer Islam. He was 36 years old, 3.5 years on duty so far at this point, up until last night there, where he fought bravely to try to protect those inside of the building. He had 2 young sons. His wife was pregnant with their 3rd child.
Now, I understand that, you know, cops have standard Glocks. They have standard Glocks. This dude was touting around a damn M4. So, you know, it just seemed like they wasn't prepared at all. I mean, he's coming in there with an M4. You know, some of these cops, they not really brave like that. They running and dodging and ducking just like everybody else. They got a Glock versus an M4. It's just crazy he was able to walk on the streets like that. After hitting several offices, he made it all the way to the 33rd floor of one of the offices. The question is, how did he even survive that? How did he get out of all of that? I'm telling y'all, look, we got to vote on this, brothers and sisters. By show of ones in the chat, This was a random act of violence. By show of tools in the chat, this is a false flag. And not only is it a false flag, but it's designed to push stop and frisk. And there's something going on with Blackstone and these powerful group of individuals, and they're trying to do something that we don't really know. And this was all Masonic. I see the tools. See, this is why we are the intelligence truth community, because, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't seem right. But they'll call us conspiracy theorists because we question everything. It's too much numerology involved in all of this. Yeah, he makes it to the 33rd floor. It doesn't make sense. And we got 800 people in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Do me a favor and get the likes up. Let's get 1,000 in here. Dree says something doesn't make sense about this. It really doesn't. In New York, we talking about some of the most stringent gun laws in the country. He's walking out in the streets with this M4, butt naked M4, just in the streets, just chilling, sunglasses on, just chilling like he Morpheus off the Matrix. He drives all the way from Nevada, from the desert, drives all the way to New York. We don't know nothing about this individual. And I'm telling you, they also fueling more racial tension as well. Like, you know, you have the brawl that just took place in Cincinnati. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, I said this once, I'm going to say it again. And I'm just going to touch on this briefly. Keep your hands to yourself. Some white guy, he got froggy. He put his hands on a brother. And the group of black folks, they giving us mixed stories. If it was a festival, wherever they were at, there was a group of black folks. They beat up everybody that white guy was with. What more can I say? Keep your hands to yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like our people just not going for that. If I was to go up in a Klan rally right now and decide I want to slap somebody at a Klan rally, I'm getting hung from a tree. I'm getting set on fire. I'm getting beat down. You know, listen, it's not racism because you're in the wrong place and your ass get froggy, even though it was some white lady laying on the ground, looked like somebody slapped her soul out her body. And people saying like, yo, they didn't have to do that. They didn't. Listen, if I walked up in a biker bar and I decided to slap somebody, they're going to beat me and everybody I'm with. That's just what it is. Everybody just respect each other. Everybody keep their hands to themselves. And it is what it is. I don't agree with what happened. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see all of this tension and race war and fighting and all of that. But unfortunately, in 2025, we're in one of the most racist times in history under Donald Dirty MAGA Trump. But anyway, nonetheless, I had to touch on that because everybody wanted to know my thoughts about the Cincinnati brawl. It's just really that simple, right? It's really that simple. Now, let's get back to this because this story is just not adding up at all.
He was assigned to the Bronx precinct there, and he was an immigrant from Bangladesh. And then if we can get to one of the victims that has been identified as well, a Blackstone executive, Wesley LaPlanter, and there has been a statement there also.
Wow, so he hit a Blackstone executive. Oh, man, the developments are coming out. So he actually hit a Blackstone executive. What is this lady's name? Because perhaps she was standing in the way of progress. Look, I don't put nothing past these people She was an executive. Now, think about that. Could she have been in a way of something that these billionaires was trying to do? Could this woman have been somebody that was looking out for the people in some way? I'm telling you, something don't seem right. What is this lady's name? Wesley Lee Patton. I'm gonna look her up. We gotta know who this lady is, because perhaps, because I don't believe in nothing by coincidence. She was targeted. She was targeted. This woman was targeted. Y'all said her name was Wesley LaPartner, 43. All right, hold on. Let me just quickly look her up. Our investigation is on now. I'm gonna play this, and I'm gonna pull this up.
Regarding this, and there has been a statement there also released regarding this victim here from Blackstone, saying words cannot express the devastation we feel. Wesley was a beloved member of the Blackstone family and will be sorely missed. She was brilliant, passionate, warm, generous, and deeply respected within our firm and beyond. She embodied the best of Blackstone. Our prayers are with her.
She was sacrificed. I believe she was blood sacrifice. That's right. New breed. Everybody's not blood sacrifice. That woman was a target. That woman was a target. He didn't just randomly hit that executive. She just wasn't in the wrong place and just got hit. Nah. They knew exactly who they were aiming for.
Husband, children, and family. She was no doubt at the pinnacle of her career at Blackstone, being an executive there, one of the largest firms of that kind in the entire world there. And of course, the shooter there.
That's right. These sacrifices happen in all industries. These happen in all industries.
Not even targeting that particular area, according to officials there, which we will detail here in just a second. But you just saw one face of the tragedy that took place here, and so many families and family members affected by this tragedy here. So absolutely heartbreaking right now as the investigation continues and families try to pick up the pieces, Marnie.
You hinted at it there, Marcus, but what do we know about a possible motive why he targeted this building?
Yeah, so according to officials, apparently the NFL, which is headquartered here behind me, was the target of this rampage here. And there was actually confusion by the shooter, excuse me, once he ended up inside of that building there. But it appeared, according to officials, that he was blaming the NFL for claiming that he had CTE, and that putting that blame on the NFL perhaps may have been the motivation.
So, okay, so now we getting some context, at least the context that the media is pushing. I believe that this is nonsense that they're telling us. The cover story is, I guess the guy wanted to go to the NFL, but they falsely diagnosed him under a CTE scan of having some type of, maybe a concussion, some type of brain fall, a problem. So he lashed out in anger, searching for the NFL office, but end up going into Blackstone and going into all these other places. And he was confused, and he just nonetheless started wetting people up. This is what we're being told. This is a lie. This story is full of it. The people that was hit was targeted. He was a Manchurian candidate under MK Ultra mind control. They used him to further push whatever agenda that these billionaires have. These billionaires have an agenda, and they use this guy to carry it out. And if anything, if they would have did a CTE scan on him, they would have found out he was under some type of hypnosis. He was under some type of mind control. They probably had him in the desert in Nevada, going through shock treatment and all kind of stuff, bro. Y'all, hey, listen. People can call us conspiracy theorists all they want, but what they talking about don't add up. What they talking about don't add up. But he ended up going to the 33rd floor. Why? Because 33rd degree Masons are behind this ritual, this damn public spectacle that we seeing right here. And anybody who's a third dimensional thinker, anybody who can see through the lies that the media tells us, anybody who got common sense and deductive reasoning skills can see that the media is lying as usual, lying per usual. That cover story don't add up at all. He was targeting the NFL. Man, these people are getting crazy with these false flag proxies that they put out there in the media.
Behind this rampage here, the NFL releasing a statement as well, in part addressing this situation here, saying one of our employees was seriously injured in this attack. He's currently in the hospital and in stable condition. NFL staff are at the hospital, and we are supporting his family. So that's the surviving shooting victim. So that death toll could have gone up even more had this person not been stabilized with the quick work. FBI responded quickly to the scene here as well. And then the note that was found on the shooter's body here, it's important to get to that as well. The mayor spoke on this, and the note detailed what the shooter says, what he blames for this incident here. Let's listen to the mayor as he described it.
The note was found on the suspect that he stated he had CTE, a brain injury known for those who played contact sport of some nature, and he seemed to have blamed the NFL.
They need to let us read the letter.
The NFL headquarters was located in the building, and he mistakenly went up the wrong elevator banks.
Thank you for watching.
Man, that is some bullshit. No. It's not adding up. We don't know. Them people could have dropped that letter right on them. And see, when they do these things, man, we got to question it. I'm telling you. Somebody said this is why the occult tried to ban TikTok, because of exposure. Oh yeah, there's going to be plenty more sources coming out later on about really what took place in this incident. The Jamaica brothers, they already on it, man. I can't get over that 33rd floor. And they said something about 6 shots were let off. The way the news covers it is always in these coded messages. Somebody said they could have kept this story, man. We're not buying it. They really think people are stupid. But the enlightened ones are going to see, man. The enlightened ones are going to see. Somebody says the tone being used in comparison to Luigi is definitely different. It is. It definitely is. But you know how these stories go. They give us these scripts, and we're supposed to buy into it. Yeah, a real somebody said it's a Temu cover story. I'm telling you. Well, y'all know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure y'all like. Let me get this off because y'all know I like to play my outro. Make sure. Hold on one moment. Play my outro. My bad, y'all, but let me get this right. Peace, y'all. They working against us. They hate our souls. They hate us. They hate our righteous indignation. They hate the exhortation that dwells in us. They hate our love. They hate our conviction. They hate the fact that we repentant. They hate the fact that we truthful, honest, and bold. They hate our courage. Them devils hate us. We're not finna line ourselves up with these weirdos and freaks. With these weirdos and freaks. They working against us. They hate our souls. Weirdos and freaks. But these weirdos and freaks, they working against us. They hate our souls. New breed.